Today, we're going to talk about when you are accused of being the toxic one, when you know absolutely that you are not, and the reasons behind it. Let's get into it. Let's go. Hey, friends, Lori Michelle here with Choosing to Shine. Today, I have a lot on my mind. I've had two therapy sessions yesterday alone. Um, as I feel better and better, and I've been in therapy for a year and a half now. Um, I'm extending my time out. It's not every week anymore. I like to come back and give you guys some tips and tricks of what I'm going. I don't know if they're tricks, but whatever. um, Tips that were shared with me to go through what I've been going through, because what I'm going through, I'm sure there's millions of people that are going through. So let's talk about when you are accused of being the toxic one. This could happen in multiple different ways, right? It could be um someone's dealing with a mental health issue and their perception is that you're the toxic one, even though you absolutely know that you are not. It could be that you have a narcissist in your life that is turning things around, right? As they always do, and mirror that back to you. You are the toxic one. You're the problem. You're the one that said XYZ. Well, no, I didn't. It could be many, many different things, but those two are my personal examples. So I'm going to stick with those two. And I I wanted to talk about specifically on the mental health side of triggers. So, I had a family member who was triggered by almost everything, right? So, a certain song was on and oh, like I don't like that person. So and so liked them and I don't like them anymore. And it reminds me of this and it reminds me of that. Or maybe you're watching a show and same thing. Oh, I don't like that person because XYZ. Well, I had a realization yesterday when I was driving to therapy that I really got away from watching a lot of TV and songs, listening to music. And music is very important to me because I didn't want to trigger the other person, right? And I literally shrunk myself down into the shadows, which is everything we talk about here, um, to because I love this person, right? I didn't want to trigger them. So anytime they would come over, let's say they were just hanging out, I'm watching a show, and they're off doing their own thing, and they come through to go to the restroom or whatever, and so I mute the show. Well, I always thought in that moment that I was muting the show because I don't like any interruptions when I'm watching a show. But yesterday I had the realization that that wasn't it at all. It was I didn't want any feedback about what I was watching because I was tired of hearing that loop over and over and over again. So there's a couple themes going on with this conversation. One, I wasn't aware of it. Two, um, they were dealing with a mental health issue. And so I was trying to be kind and not trigger them, right? Because I love them. Um, but I was in my own home. And so anyway, I'm driving to therapy yesterday. The song comes on the radio and I was like, "Oh, I really like this singer." And I was like, "Why don't I listen to music anymore, especially this singer?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, because it triggered so and so." Well, you know what? That person is no longer in my life. And I think due to mental health issues, but I think that I wasn't doing them any favors by shrinking myself and trying to make this bubble environment for them to feel safe. I mean, obviously, you want the loved ones to feel safe, but we are not responsible for others' triggers. That's the whole point here. Because what happened was I was no longer being real. I felt like I couldn't talk about the things I wanted to talk about. And there's, even the things that we're saying or not saying, there's a feeling behind those things, right? And I don't know if this is coming through to make sense because I literally just found out all this yesterday. So I'm just kind of talking through it, brainstorming. Um, but when we shrink ourselves down and we're not true to who we are, then that comes across to the other person of not being authentic or not being like you're hiding something from them. So it's not all about communication, it's a feeling behind the communication or the lack of communication. Does that make sense? So I ended up losing this person um anyway. And how much joy did I miss out on because I was molding myself. Not that they asked me to, I wanna make that clear. They never asked me not to listen to something or watch something. I just was in the emotional state of, I don't wanna think about anything. I just wanna listen to my music or watch the show, whatever. So, I was making the decision to not do those things. So, that's a very important, observation, self-awareness, for me, you know, so that's my issue, right? I didn't I didn't hold my own boundary or whatever. I mean, obviously, if somebody tells you that it bothers them and they're over visiting, that's a different story. But I'm talking about someone who lived here and it was constant, right? It was just constant. Oh, I don't like that person. Oh, like you shouldn't be watching that because this. Oh, go ahead and play it. Don't mute it. Well, I don't feel comfortable watching or listening to anything in front of you because everything is a trigger. So, um, yeah, it's really hurtful that I shrunk myself down and didn't enjoy the things for years that I enjoyed because this person was suffering and they refused to get help. And it's very heartbreaking. Um, I don't want to go there. Oof, I wasn't expecting that. So I was also married to a very covert narcissist. So, and I've mentioned before that I didn't even realize that he was until years after I divorced him. Like, I actually had a conversation with one of my kids, and she was like, "Well, yeah, dad was a narcissist." I was like, "No, he wasn't." Because I'm thinking that means like very bold and egotistical. And like, I had a different definition of what that meant. And she was like, "Yeah, you should do some research on that." And I'm glad that I did because it made me understand a lot of the things that were happening. And it was just like these micro manipulations, right? Of things that he knew that irritated me. And I was like, why do you continue to do that when you know that it irritates me? Well, now I know the reason, right? They're trying to get that energy. They're trying to get that reaction. They want you to be upset for whatever reason. They get off on that. Um, and then, like when something was wrong, obviously I wanted to have a conversation about it. And he would just sit there like in total silence because he knew that that would drive me crazy, right? Because he knew that I was upset. I wanted to talk about it. And he would just watch me like spiral, get more and more upset about it. And then let's say 3 weeks from that time, he would bring it back up and then he would want to argue about it when I was already done with it. Because he wanted to keep that energy heightened and me upset. And it's just so far from the thinking that I have when I've told you guys before, I made a decision coming from a dysfunctional family that constantly lied. I wasn't going to lie about anything. I was going to try to live my life with high standards and high morals, especially my kids. I didn't even lie about Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy and things like that. Like they knew that I was playing a game because I just didn't want there to be any lies in my family. And I still have a hard time wrapping my head around why. I mean, I guess I know like why now. Like it's all from your childhood, right? The things you didn't get, the things you did get, their own dysfunction and trauma. Um, but why? It's like I don't know. Like I look at like a narcissist personality and I'm like, you you literally have to contort your feelings, think about what irritates that person, think about what lies you've told, what truths you've told, and how to twist that. Like it has to be like a constant, how can I get this person to be mad at me when I get home? I know. I'll I'll wait till she puts on some workout clothes and then I'll tell her how fat she is. Yeah, true story. Or knowing, I had twins, knowing, their nap time and that I would take a nap. You can call me any time of the day. One way to call, always at nap time. Yeah. That was before cell phones. So, wasn't really like we could take the phone off the hook, or I guess we could have maybe turned the ringer off, but emergencies. I don't know. Yeah, it's just like all these little micro irritations and things that just want to like, oh, I just want to irritate you today. That's like my main goal is to irritate you and get that energy from you. Like I don't remember saying to him early, well, maybe not early, maybe like halfway through our marriage. We were married 33 years. Um, I've noticed every time I'm in a good mood, you're always in a bad mood. Why is that? He's like, "Oh, I haven't noticed," and like kept walking. So I knew there was issues, but I didn't know what the issue was. And it's like no matter how much I tried to fix it, it wouldn't get fixed, right? It just continued to get worse because that's the game. Um, I wrote some notes I wanted to share with you guys. My phone's about to die, so let me see if I can get them pulled up here. Um, so this was like some notes I wrote when I was thinking through all this. So you edited your entire personality to keep the peace, thinking it would save the relationship. And instead of saving it, it cost you the relationship anyway. Like that was like the piece. That was the first story I was talking about where I don't know. I think they just knew something was off in the relationship and so it wasn't genuine anymore. Um and then that didn't just happen when that person was present, right? Because let's say I'm in a car with my best friend and this one singer comes on and you know, I'm like singing because it makes me happy, but I'm also like, wow, like, this person really hurt this person that I love and I feel guilty about it. So maybe that's the empath in me as well. So just a lot of things I'm trying to figure out and like I said, sharing that back with you guys. Um oh also I so I was telling my therapist this and she's like, what kind of music do you like? I said, I'm very eclectic. I'll pretty much listen to anything. And she's like, perfect. I'm going to give you some homework. When you come back, I want you to tell me 3 songs that describe how you're feeling. Excuse me. Now, the very first song that popped up in my head was Pink. Oh gosh, what's that song? Like I know all the lyrics when it comes on the radio, but I can't think of it right now. Oh gosh, did I write it down here in my notes? I don't think I did. But basically, made a wrong turn once or twice. Um, welcome to my messy life. That song is all about dysfunction and we're never perfect. We weren't put on the earth to be born perfect. Like we all got to go through our own shit, right? And but hey, I'm still here and I'm in the sun. I'm in the light. I'm going to come out of it and be okay. So that's kind of like my life theme song. I really like that. And also, gosh, I should have had this stuff more prepared. Cheryl Crow, like stepping into the light anyway. Let's actually see if I can find these songs. Um, yeah, but um, just I don't know. I love that homework first of all, right? Because I'm trying to get music is very important to me. It always has been. It's always been an escape in my dysfunctional life. Um, getting in the car and turning up the music as loud as possible is probably the reason why I have hearing issues. But it's such a mood changer for me. It makes me so happy. And yeah, I would challenge you guys to think about like a theme song or what song resonates with you, that how you're feeling, you know? Um yeah. Well, I'm not going to record too much today. I have lots of stuff going on. Um as you guys probably do too, but just wanted to hop on here and tell you what I was feeling and it's going to be okay. You know, we really got to make these really small micro changes and self-awareness. I think it starts with self-awareness, right? So, using that example, I'm driving yesterday listening to a song, certain singer comes on. I was like, "Oh, why don't I listen to that anymore?" It's not as simple as I just haven't heard it or haven't been in the mood to play it. there was something else there. And as I continued to think through that, I went into that therapy session saying that, I said, "Hey, like this is really bothering me. I want to talk about this." And we figured it out. And, maybe you don't have a therapist you can talk to, but talk to your friends about it. Journal about it. Journaling is very important. It gets those subconscious thoughts onto paper. Um, but I want you guys to step out of the shadows of whoever that is that put you in that shadow era. I want you guys to step out into your light and be happy with yourselves and be whole. And we're going to walk this journey together. Love to all.